Hello everybody, welcome to the newest episode of the Fire Rises guys. Today I'm going to show you how to win as the American constitutional government, aka Trump, and we'll be getting all three achievements. Now, in order to get, if the poor has had healthcare, you'll need to have the Jacobins in your coalition or government. And to ensure that, just to be safe, we are going to get here before we let into the game. We're going to go all the way down to Second American Civil War here. And pick any of these routes except for the Jacobins. So we're just gonna pick the Neo-Socialists. Fuck it, let's do the Octoberists. I think that's the canon one. There we go, and we are going to load in. Now I would like to thank Soryu, I believe the channel name is. I'll put the video up on screen, as this video gave me the basis for this guide, but we're gonna do things a little different. Unlike his video, we are not going to win the election. We are instead going to lose. And so what you're going to want to do is build anti-air in Missouri, Iowa, and might as well build some in Minnesota. You're going to want to prioritize the ones in these states here, though. As usual, gather up all your army, all your military factories, put them there. Research, like I said, it's going to be the same for all the guides, by the way. Research does not matter, as the United States in the opening parts of the Civil War. So just hit 5 speed and let the game play. Alright, so we have finished the State of the Union, and we are going to pick Pelosi. Didn't even read it. That will allow us to side with Trump and the American constitutional government. Alright, so now COVID has hit. And we are going to, alright, there you go. So now COVID has hit. And what we're going to have to do is we are going to want to either prevent an outbreak or vaccinate every single one of our states. And those states are going to be Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, the Dakotas, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Montana. Now, while it may seem like you want to get Illinois and Wisconsin, as you get most of them with the exception of Milwaukee and Chicago, you actually don't. Because the thing about the COVID bonus, let me see if I can find a state that has it here. Oregon? Does Oregon yeah, the thing about the COVID debuff is that it reduces the population. That sounds really bad. It reduces construction speed, resources, population, and everything. And while normally that would be very bad for us, which, yes, it would, as, again, we basically have the nothing states, those states are going to fall to Biden whether we like it or not. So it's best just to let him deal with the COVID and get as little out of these states as he can. And again, we are not, and remember, we're not trying to win the election here. Now we can pick between Operation Warp Speed or implement emergency measures. I'm going to, remember, we're not trying to win the election, so I'm going to implement the emergency measures because I like having the extra mask, and I like having all my territories with as little problems as possible. So, like with Biden, you are going to want to mass production because, you want to get as many masks as possible. Well, most of your states have relatively low population, so the mask amount won't be that high. Areas like Colorado and Minnesota are going to have relatively high mask requirements just because there are so many people in those states. Alright, with implement emergency measures done, you're going to want to do stimulate the economy. And, of course, vaccinate your capital state of Colorado, as it is your most important state by far. Alright, with stimulate the economy done, we are going to wait 10 days, because that is when the BLM riots will start, and we will be able to do the focus back to the blue. In the meantime, I have been purchasing masks and vaccinating, or preventing outbreaks within my states. Alright, and there we go. The riots are now in effect, and we can do back to the blue. Might as well get West Virginia since they'll rise up and join you. Alright, back to blue is done, and now you're going to want to do crush the rioters, or compromise with protesters. Does not matter. Like I said, we are not trying to win the election here. Alright, with your choice of focus complete, now it's time to do end the chaos. Whoops. Alright, since we have the spare mask and stuff, I'm also going to recommend starting to prevent outbreaks and vaccinate areas of the Patriot Front as well as Michigan, because well, yes, that will make them stronger. It's also going to radically weaken Biden, and that's something we like. Alright, next you're going to want to do, reinvigorate the economy, let a tick pass by, and finally deploy the vaccines in your remaining areas. Alright, with reinvigorate the economy done, you just need to do the last two focuses, American oil only, American only oil, and lasting peace. Does not matter the order. Alright, for this one, I don't think it matters too much, so I don't know. Yeah, okay, yeah, I don't think it matters too much which one you do. I think you get the same bonus. I'm not entirely sure. Alright, last focus to do, lasting peace. Our approval rating is in the toilet because we did not bother. Alright, lasting peace is complete, as well as the research slots here. At this point, you should probably start shifting to military stuff. Do not bother with an MIO because those take political power, and if you can't tell, you are kind of in need of some. America weeps. Alright, we're gonna do the shadow presidency. Alright, with the shadow presidency complete, you're gonna want to do fan the flame. You want to do this focus ASAP because you want all that sweet, sweet political power. Alright, there you go. That is the last of the Patriot Front territories to vaccinate. Now we can start focusing on potential allies like the Navajo Nation, up here in the Rockies, Texas, Florida, these areas here. Alright, now you're going to want to do underground armaments and, whoops, all of that political power. Just hold on to it for now. You can do one run of accelerate the conflict though. Alright, with underground armaments done, rally the people and do one thing of expand militia stockpiles because you want more guns, right? Like I said, switch all whatever remaining whatever new research slots you get all to military stuff because you are going to need it. You're gonna need it real bad. Alright, I'm going to suggest you do stage countrywide protest. And now you're going to do The Fire Rises. Name of the game, huh? Very funny.
He said it! He said it!
This is a very good focus. The defense buff is very, very nice to have. You are very much going to need it. Alright, the fire has risen and the Civil War is about to begin. I'm gonna pause that so I don't get copyrighted. God help us, this is it. Alright, so the American Constitution of this is where we are. We are $9 billion in debt somehow. We are out of fuel. We're gonna turn off auto payment. And of course crack down on Denver. Fiery but mostly peaceful for now. Get the anti-air and finish building them in St. Louis and in Missouri and Iowa here. Get all of your planes and gather them up in the air bases here in Kansas. Where's the other one? There it is. For your military production, it's not really much you can do for now. You're going to lose that MIO, so 3 on guns, command equipment, improved artillery, put it on 2, I guess. Get 1 of everything here. And best on. There you go. Oh, for your army, break off the militia, split that into two. What the fuck? I said split it into two. There we go. Get your tanks. Want all of your tanks in one thing. Should be fine for now. Get 3 militias. There we go.
Position cleared and under control.
4. You have 4 full armies. Your field marshal is going to be Michael Flynn because that is a very good defense.
Roger that.
Your first good army will be led by David Hilberry Berger. That's a hell of a name. Next one will be led by Robert Raymond McNamara, I think. McMaster.
You got it.
John Kelly.
You got it.
And Paul Nakosa. I don't know how you say that, sorry. Bring that down to right about here. Second good army. Whoops.
Infantry, gather around me.
Second good army can reinforce like that.
Roger that.
Militia will do that. Support them.
Roger that.
I'm gonna move them back a little bit. Actually, I want. So, yeah, something like this should be good. Now, like I said, you are going to... Whoops. Now, like I said, you are going to lose Wisconsin and Iowa. Just... It's fine, but you are going to have to micro the hell out of it. You're going to want to delay them as much as possible. You're going to want to slow them down as much as possible. I got more equipment here. Is there any... Don't bother trading anything, actually, because you're gonna lose a lot of equipment here. So what your goal here is basically going to be is to... There's the Denver crackdown. Again. Actually, don't. You are going to want to get as much political power as you can. There we go. So don't bother with the MIOs for right now. Just keep building political power. You really, really, really need it. With the Air Force here, get these planes. State missions only. And air superiority over the Great Plains for these planes. Again, day only. And air superiority over the South Plains. Now, you might be wondering why we're setting it to day only. And that's because, 1, planes are expensive. And 2, new pilots tend to crash a lot. So, they tend to crash less during the day, which is why we're doing that. We have the anti-air here to help us out, though, so that will be good. Alright, so now that the war has begun, it is important that you do not launch an assault on Biden's line. Your military debuffs are pretty bad. So it's best that we just play defense and play it safe. You are going to get pushed back. That is okay. That's what we want. This is basically going to be the German-Soviet war. You are going to be the Soviets, and Biden is going to be the Germans. We're going to form a defensive line along the Mississippi River. So here in Missouri, Iowa, and Minnesota. And we're just going to hold out, right? All we need to do is finish up our Army focus tree, our Air Force focus tree, and maybe we might even have to do work on our economy for a bit. And we will be able to we will inflict so many casualties on Biden that we will be able to push in. Another thing that was going to help us is, if you remember, we vaccinated New England and Michigan, and that is because the National Socialist Movement and the Patriot Front spawn here. And they're going to be very, very useful as Biden will have lost so many troops and men fighting us that they won't really have much left to defend their borders, and they'll have to scramble units from our front over to theirs, which will allow us to push in and we'll have such a high war score, we should be able to get all of, if not most, of Biden's territory. We'll get the stuff that matters. Chicago and Milwaukee. We're going to have uprisings in West Virginia. We're going to be fine. You just need to hold out. And FYI, this is going to involve a lot of micro. So if you are not a big fan of micro, I highly suggest maybe don't playing this or at another time. You ready? Alright, let's do this. Alright, so as you can see, we're getting hit pretty hard. We're holding out here because of the river line. We're, you know, it's going either way here. We're getting pushed back here. That's fine. Micro, okay? Alright. Like here, right? This unit is nice and free. So we're going to send in the militia to reinforce here. Alright. Pause. Once you have 20 political power, you're going to want to get this out of the way immediately. So, okay, we need to save up our political power. It's not here yet. But we'll need to save it up for the Marshal of the Army, which will get rid of military disorganization. That is a terrible, terrible thing. As it, you know, gets rid of a large portion of our disorganization. And that is going to cost us 200 political power. But before we do that, you want to hit fortify St. Louis. It'll take 35 days, so for 35 days, you'll need to hold off Biden's forces in this area. It'll allow you to build more forts in St. Louis along the Mississippi, which will make it impenetrable. You can see all of our civilian economy is focused on... Alright, I'm going to pause. The song you get, by the way, if you're wondering, is The Pretender, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. So, now, future of our government. Reestablish civilian authority, or the military has our best interest in mind. That will allow you to, obviously, reestablish or suspend habeas corpus. If you're going to go down the libertarian route, I recommend establishing civilian authority. If you're going to go down the patriot route, I recommend suspending habeas corpus. If you're going down the MAGA route, does not really matter. I'm going to suspend habeas corpus, personally. Next, you're going to want to do rally the people. Be sure to cycle in units that are either not in combat or in relatively high areas to areas that are about to fall or are weak. For example, here, this is a very important area. This has a supply hub. Naperville. Another thing I recommend, at least for now, is to turn off auto payment. So when you get whatever little money you get, it actually goes into your account and not paying off your debt. Is your debt gonna rise? Yeah, but you'll be fine. We'll do our economy branch. This route it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. All right. I'm going to recommend we must keep ourselves restrained. Our boys in blue need to only arrest the violent thugs. That'll get you 15 political power, which is always pretty nice to have. And like I said, it will allow you to force cohesion just a little bit earlier. Okay, so after testing out all the options, the best one to do is fine, we won't rally, but because we've got social, I'm the Mike Tyson of Twitter. It'll get you more political power and get you ever so closer to being able to marshal the military. Oh my god, so as you just saw there, I had a ton of ores, but for whatever reason, the game decided I did not. I think, so that's always such bullshit. It's the worst when that happens. See if I can get it. Okay, we got it. Alright, so now we have the option to raise militia, which I won't do just yet. I will take the decision America's call, which that'll buff your defense. And I've also found this area of Milwaukee. This will cut it off, and it's only defended by New York militia. I don't really recommend offensives, but if you can do them,
All clear.
worth a shot. Just be sure you can pull back. Alright. Next, we're going to do desperate measures. This will give you access. You also now have access to the National Fury mechanic. Okay, I'm going to stop my offensive, actually, because as you can see, I was not paying attention, and we got pushed back. We cannot afford that, so... the game doesn't always do this, but be sure to update your lines. That is vital. Alright, so we've just managed to somehow encircle Milwaukee. While I don't think this will last, I'm gonna try and take advantage of it and destroy whatever troops may be in this pocket here. Yeah. I am now going to raise up militias in Missouri. It's not gonna be a whole lot, but it's better than nothing.
Position under control. You got it. You got it.
Okay, so this is the West Virginia uprising. These guys, you don't really need to worry too much about these guys. I will put them under J.D. Vance, I guess. And you kind of just need to maneuver them around in however you feel like. These are mostly going to serve as a distraction. But hey, you got a core on the state, so isn't that nice? Slow, small offensives are going to be what wins us the race here.
Position under control. Out.
Alright, so as you can see, a lot of Biden's troops had to move a lot further east just to deal with our militias.
All clear.
So that's pretty fun. And that's what allowed us to kind of push outwards. This hold isn't going to last, but it's nice to like have the retaking our territory basically, because they'll have to retake it over and over again, and it'll just slowly drain them. Alright, desperate measures is complete. We can't complete any more military focuses until we either have more surrender progress, or we've we've marshaled the military. So in the meantime, it's going to activate the Defense Production Act. Alright, so this is another event that gives us political power. This one is the death of Nick Fuentes, who gets shot 19 times. But hey, 5 political power is nice, isn't it? Oh, as you can see, we've wiped out 7 Biden militia battalions. Not a whole lot, but you know. What matters is that we've got one.
They're blowing us away. Retreat.
We're now pushing towards Chicago. Like I said, we're probably not going to be able to hold this. Alright, this is the event we've been waiting for. Elon Musk pledges support to Donald Trump. We can either pick Elon is a rising star, I tell you, and that'll give us $200 billion, which is pretty nice, and grant Elon Musk as an economic minister, which he does give some pretty good bonuses. Or we can pick thank you for amazing contributions, Elon, which will give you 100 political power and only $100 billion. Not bad, and not bad at all. Now, if you want to get Elon Musk as a leader, you have to pick Elon, this guy's a rising star. However, I'm not going down that route, as, like I said, I'm going down the Patriot route, so we're going to pick the bottom option. And we can now, where is it here? Force military cohesion. That gets rid of the horrible, horrible debuff. As you can see, it's not there. And will allow us to do these ones here. Alright, with the Defense Production Act, we can either do marshal the military or mobilize the militias. If you're going... Does not particularly matter. This is more of like typical military stuff. This is more militia stuff. I'm going to go down mobilize the militias because I want the balance of power as far on the side of the people as I can get. I almost forgot here, but what we're going to do with the Elon money is we're going to buy tanks. That's all we really need. If you're wondering why the German option wasn't there, it's because I already bought some beforehand. Maybe later we'll be able to get these Air Force stuff, but we have a focus that'll give us a bunch of planes, so it's not really a worry right now. Campaign decision I recommend you take is hold the line. The better entrenchment speed, better max entrenchment, pretty good bonuses overall. We're going to let Biden continue to ram himself into our lines. Alright, so now that Mobilize the Militias has finished, you're going to want to do either utilize Revolutionary Nostalgia or reorganize the Air Force. I'm going to recommend it, utilize Revolutionary Nostalgia, at least for now, just because our ground war is just a tad bit more important than our air war. The air, it's holding, I guess. As you can see, we have 38 experience. If you do not have 40 experience, by the time this focus is done, we should, but if just in case you don't, start doing Air Force. Once you complete an Air Force focus and you have 40 Army experience, you can do one of these two. I recommend Rehabilitate the Military first. Alright, Oklahoma Militia is finished, so you're gonna get 2 on there, and I guess the other 2, we'll start working on a second Army group under John Hayton. Alright, so, now, if you want to get Vance as your president after, doing that route, you're gonna have to get him up to level 2. He starts out at level 1, so I'm just gonna put him around here. In the meantime, with Utilize Revolutionary Nostalgia done, we have 40 Army experience. It's time to do Rehabilitate the Army or a Mindset of Struggle. I'm going to go with Mindset of Struggle because it fixes our division organization just a tad. They're both 35 days, so. Alright, with Mindset, spread the Mindset of Struggle complete. We have the 40 XP, might as well Rehabilitate the military. Alright, so as you can see, we do not have the 40 XP required to do Army reorganization. So now I'm going to reorganize the Air Force.
Position under control. Out.
Reorganize the Air Force is done. Alright, this is going to take 70 days, but it's time to do Army reorganization. This is a fantastic one. It basically gets rid of all of the debuffs within American Constitutional Army. I don't know why it's not firing. I don't know if it's just bugged or whatever, but you should get an event whenever St. Louis is in danger that gives you 3 militia battalions. For some reason, that's not firing for me, so that's also really annoying. You should also get a mission called St. Louis Hold the City. If you hold the city for about 150 days, you'll get +10 and +10 war support, and I believe +10 stability as well. And as you can see, the Patriot Front is continuing to grow in strength. Hopefully they don't get bogged. Sometimes they get bogged down in Buffalo, and that's really annoying. But hopefully they won't. And once they join in, it'll be game over for Biden. But yeah, just keep holding out. Okay, we actually did it. We managed to cut off Chicago. Okay, this is great news. Great news. Micro this, if you can, yeah, micro any pocket you get. Obviously don't neglect these areas here, because they're, you know, if you lose St. Louis, it's pretty bad, but, yeah, okay, good. We managed to cut off a pretty good chunk of Biden's forces, as well as a British volunteer. How many British volunteers do they have? I'm not sure, but, yeah, now, I'm gonna pretty much focus a good chunk of my energy on just destroying this pocket. Alright, Invoke the Second Amendment is done. Now we can do either Old Glory's New Army or the National Militia. Both of them are very, very good. I personally prefer, where is it here? Old Glory's New Army, just because the attack bonuses are nice, but you can do whatever you'd like. Doesn't matter much right now. Okay, cool. We've pushed them out of Missouri once again. Time to kind of just push inwards towards Washington. If we'll get there, probably not. We're probably going to get pushed back again. Well, we're pushing. That's all that counts, huh? Okay, so for whatever reason, my microphone didn't pick this up. But at one point, while I was sieging Chicago, the National Front attacked me. And that's kind of what you're waiting for. You got to hold out for them to attack you, and that'll force Biden to redeploy troops from his front line, from your front line to the National Front one, which will allow you to push into Biden's territory.
Position cleared and under control.
Might as well use the last of the political power to get the last few militias. It's only one, but hey, militias are militias, right? I'm also going to do victory at hand because they like the extra attack. Buy some more tanks. So I'll start working on the... Actually, I'm going to do Providence. Time to start working on the economy. We're going to do revive civilian economy. Okay, that's fun. Alright, so the NSM has gone to war with us. They're not too strong. They haven't snowballed. And, I mean, the Patriot Front hasn't even reunited New England yet. But still pretty annoying, so...
Cleared and under control.
Okay, so as you can see, what I did here was I put one militia army and one good army on the border with the National Socialist Movement. Kind of had to fight back, but a lot of their units ended up kind of fighting there in the Midwest around Chicago and Wisconsin, which left a lot of their forces unable to defend Michigan, which thankfully allowed me to, for the most part, steamroll right over them.
All clear. Infantry, gather around me. Infantry, gather around me. You got it.
Alright, so here we go. As you can see, we've finally defeated Biden's forces. It was a little rough, but thankfully we should be able to just take it all because we have a high enough war score from all the fighting and all the encirclements we did around Chicago and Milwaukee, plus all the little smaller ones we've got, you know, like around Cleveland and stuff. But yeah, just do that and you should be good to go.
Roger that.
Okay, so again, my microphone, I don't know why it just didn't record for a good chunk of this video, but, what you're gonna do with the Patriot Front is you're gonna need them alive when you go to war with the APLA, as part of the requirements for, Eye of the Storm is to be at war with both the Patriot Front and the APLA and win said wars. So what you're gonna do with the Patriot Front is slowly, but surely, surround, and destroy all the mechanized units they have. So, tanks, trucks, militias, anything that is in a vehicle, basically, until they're down to weak infantry and militia units. So that way, once you do go to war with the APLA, you'll be able to just very quickly crush them. Yeah, so that's basically how you're going to deal with the Patriot Front. Again, be sure to not capitulate them. Just keep them somewhere around in a relatively easy area, like maybe Boston or New England. So that way, you know, you can easily defeat them afterwards. Alright, once you've trapped the Patriot Front in a relatively easy area for you to take care of, what you're going to want to do next is set up your good army, like, on the Rocky Mountains, so that way you can take the decision to intervene in the Rockies, and it'll be a lot easier. Set up various militia units along, like, areas in the south to fight, like the Atomwaffen or the League of the South, or maybe you won't have to, maybe the Southern Federal Command. Who knows? Just just adapt, right? Put troops where you need them to be, basically. But yeah, prioritize putting good units. Put one good army on the Patriot Front and one good army on the Rocky Mountain borders. So that way you'll have that good army ready to go when it's time to fight the APLA. Sorry. Alright, so now that intervening in the Rockies is complete, we are now at war in the Rocky Mountains. Shouldn't be too hard. These guys don't have content, nor do I actually think they'll ever get content. Who knows? Maybe I'll be wrong. Actually, the Mormons might. Alright, just move them in a position along here. Since work with state governments is also complete, in a second we'll get a pop-up to work with the state of New Mexico. And we're not going to do that just yet, just because we don't have our units in place, but might as well. Alright, they shouldn't be too much of a challenge. Honestly, the hardest part about this is that it's mostly going to be like rocky terrain, and that really sucks to fight in. But it's not going to be like the end of the world or anything.
All clear. You got it. All clear.
Okay, so the APLA has now gone to war with us. Sucks. This is like the one game I get where where the state government of Texas didn't win, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's just really annoying.
All clear.
The good news is we can now defeat the Patriot Front. Go on ahead. Like I said, you should have crushed most of their units during that initial war there, so, you know, just move on.
Roger that.
Right, now that we're at war with the APLA, we also have, where is it? Access to call up Western Reserves, which will give us 9 divisions. Militias, of course, but, you know, divisions are divisions. And the good thing about the APLA is that since they're so early in the war, they only have cores in California, so that's all we really need to focus on. Alright, with Drain the Swamp complete, I now have option 2. Since I'm at war with both Patriot Front and the APLA, I have the option to do on the back foot, which I'm going to do. It's a pretty good focus. Ooh, I'm going to try and cut off split California in 2 here. So again, my microphone didn't record this part, but it's important that for the APLA, you need the balance of power to be on the side of the people in order to get the achievement if the cores had healthcare. I'm not entirely sure how far it needs to be. There was a little bit of a bug in my game where it didn't activate after completing all the requirements. But yeah, you need to make sure it's on the side of the people, and I'll show you what to do if you have all the requirements necessary, but for whatever reason, the event to get the Jacobins into your coalition just isn't activating. I'll show you that in a little bit. Alright, there we go. We have defeated the Texas National Movement. And hey, it's before the election, just about a month shy. Less than that. So we're gonna go up here and just hit Reunify America. Wow, how fun. How fun. We are just gonna have to get, where is it here? America supports out healthcare. We're gonna have to get our poverty law. Where is it? Here it is. We're gonna have to get our poverty law all the way up to the highest, as well as our welfare law all the way up here. It's a little rough, but we can do it. It's not too bad. I will complete. First thing I'm gonna do is complete my economic branch. Alright, so given how bugged TFR is, I think the game just for whatever reason did not launch the event, just as it didn't set the Patriots to be the ruling party. So that's kind of annoying, but what can you do at the end of the day? So if you have done everything correctly, which I have, as you can see, welfare state and highest poverty development, I guess you can cheat in the event. And so the way you do that is by opening your console commands. Oh, right. Typing in event. There we go. There we go. That's how you do that. Yeah, for whatever reason, mine didn't trigger. Maybe there was something wrong with my balance of power. I don't believe there was. I think the game is just very broken. TFR is famous for crashing all the fucking time, and the code is extremely fragile. So, yeah. That's gonna do it for today's video. That's how you get all 3 achievements as Donald Trump in TFR. Hopefully yours didn't end up very bugged like mine. Hopefully yours, runs a little bit smoother and you're actually able to get all of the achievements. Trump, I personally find the hardest nation to play as, just because I don't like defensive wars, and I imagine a lot of you don't either. So hopefully this helped you out, at least a little bit. And I will see you in the next video, which will hopefully either be an APLA guide or something we haven't done before. Bye-bye!